Welcome to the second part of In Touch this week. It's Crime Beat. I'm Officer Don with Fayette Commonwealth's Attorney Ray Larson. Several topics to talk about, including a prisoner who thinks she has a right to a sex change and that you should pay for it. This person's in prison right now. We'll discuss that a little bit later in the show. But first things first, the headline of the Courier-Journal in front of me right now says, Panel urges Kentucky to suspend executions. An ABA report improves safeguards to protect innocent. An American Bar Association panel has recommended that Kentucky temporarily suspend the death penalty until it adopts new safeguards to prevent the execution of the innocent. What say you, Ray Larson?
Oh, this was coming when they appointed this group, Officer Don, this what they call Kentucky's Death Penalty Assessment Team. I called the American Bar Association up. I said, what is all this? And she gave me information that she apparently wasn't supposed to give me. And turns out that this Kentucky Death Penalty Assessment Team is just one of many assessment teams around the country that is being funded by the American Bar Association. And the American Bar Association has a plan, and their plan, they call it the Death Penalty Moratorium Implementation Project. What does that sound like to you?
It sounds like all lawyers, since the ABA represents you guys, all attorneys are against the death penalty. That's what I'm hearing here. Is that true?
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, the American Bar Association, it's like the American Medical Association. You know how the vast majority of doctors, first of all, don't belong to the American Medical Association, and when they came out in support of this Obamacare, the doctors around the country just rebelled and dropped out of the American Medical Association. Well, same way with the American Bar Association. Those people don't represent most of the lawyers. It's just basically it's turned itself into a lobbying group for criminal defense lawyers and personal injury lawyers.
They seem to have enough credibility to get on the front page of the paper, and it's sort of presented in the paper as a fact. Panel urges Kentucky to suspend execution, improve safeguards to protect innocent. I mean, that is how the media has responded to the ABA report. So they have some credibility with them. Tell us about the ABA.
Wait a minute. That's on the front page of the Courier-Journal, right?
Yeah.
Courier-Journal is adamantly opposed to the death penalty.
How do you know that?
Well, they've editorialized it for years and years. They will probably this weekend. They'll have a big editorial about how this is the wise way to go. Now, I was talking to you about talking to the American Bar Association. I made that call. I talked to a woman named Sarah Tuberville. And what she said was that this death penalty moratorium project by the ABA is funded by a grant from the European Union. I mean, Europe is sponsoring this project by the American Bar Association.
Why does that make you aggravated?
Well, because the political elitists in Europe are opposed to the death penalty. They haven't let their people, the population, vote on whether or not they want the death penalty. They just don't. It's different over there. And so what happens is now they're trying to get the death penalty abolished all over the world. And so what they're doing is funding these things like this, what do we call it, the Kentucky Death Penalty Assessment Team. That's what they did. So the fix was in. The answer was we knew what the answer was going to be 2 years ago. I wrote about it on my webpage, lexingtonprosecutor.com, by the way. And I said, follow the money. Follow the money. And guess what? It takes us right back to the European Union. And they're so anti-death penalty, you can't stand it.
One of the interesting parts about this article is one of the reasons that they say that the death penalty should be null and void here in Kentucky is that they point out that 60% of death penalty cases have been overturned by this Kentucky Supreme Court. Now, I just know from personal experience being involved in a couple of death penalty cases and with the Supreme Court, I can promise you that a case being overturned by no means indicates that the person is innocent.
Well, they're trying to imply that.
They're trying to imply that, but I've never dealt with a case being overturned in the Kentucky Supreme Court where it was because there was suddenly a revelation that this person didn't do it. In fact, I've had cases where people confess to doing it, have told me, I've done it, and then the Kentucky Supreme Court still overturns their case because they're not really interested in the person's guilt or innocence. To me, they're interested in whatever technicality they can find, and that goes for the death penalty case or whatever. I mean, that's been my experience with it. I don't.
Well, so the answer.
But they imply that it's because of people are innocent. So no matter how you feel about the death penalty, it's the spin that can be aggravating. I mean, it's like, okay, just tell the truth, and then let people make an informed decision about whether or not they agree that a person should be put to death.
Well, we're getting back to this business that, like in Europe, we got these panels and the American Bar Association saying this is what we ought to be doing. My answer to this whole thing is simple. Why don't we just put it on the ballot? Do you want the death penalty in Kentucky for aggravated murders or not? Let the people decide. You see? They don't do that in Europe because they don't think they're as smart as the policymakers. And so I would say to all of these people, you don't like the death penalty, put it on the ballot, let's let the public decide. You see? But they won't do that because what they'll find out is that the vast, vast majority of the public believes the death penalty is appropriate for aggravated murder cases. It's not available in every murder case, just those aggravated murder cases like killing a cop, multiple murder, like
Rape and murder.
Yeah, raping someone and murdering them after they raped them, or breaking into a house and killing somebody. That's a burglary. That's an aggravated murder. You go in the liquor store and you hold up the clerk and you make this decision every time. That is, do I take the money and run, or do I take the money, kill the witness, and run? And if you take the money, kill the witness, and run, we're going to seek the death penalty. Now.
Well, my side of it goes back to the victims. I mean, we can talk about punishment all we want, but to me, you ask the person who's been victimized, or the person who's left with their son or daughter, or mother or father, or brother or sister killed, and ask them what can help you get through this. Are you for the death penalty or against it? And you leave it up to them, because those are the people that ultimately, we can't give them justice, we can never create closure, but at least let them be empowered to have a voice in this. But that to me is what is not covered in the article that you're looking here.
It's the agenda of the Courier Journal, or Curious Journal.
I'm going to talk about the victims and what.
Tune in to the following stations every Sunday to hear full episodes of In Touch with Ray the DA and Don Evans.